I want to get my friend back. To W. I, 20F, lost my best friend, Jess, fake name, from middle school over a stupid decision. We first met in 6th grade when I complimented her GMM jacket back in 2016, and we hit it off ever since. We would spend hours non-stop talking on the phone. I would give her a birthday card every year of the show she hated as a kid, Sophia the First. We had so many inside jokes. We knew everything about each other. Later on, we made another friend, Sarah, fake name, and we were an unstoppable trio. 2019. When high school came around, Jess made the decision to go to early college while Sarah and I went to the high school. We made it work though and hung out regularly. However, I began to spend more time with Sarah. We started doing stuff together, just the two of us, and leave Jess in the dust, though we would still make plans with her, just less. 2021. Later on, Sarah got into her first serious relationship with Dakota, making me the third wheel. I never minded hanging out with the both of them. Dakota was nice to me, however. He wasn't so fond of Jess. As time went by, sleeping at the foot of the bed like a dog when I'd spend the night with Sarah and Dakota, and sometimes waking up to Dakota going down on Sarah while I was asleep right next to them. Sarah had told me I'm her person through thick and thin. We did everything together. I would always dry her tears when her and Dakota got into fights. I would help her clean, and I would go shopping with her and go to her DR's appointments. We still spent time with Jess occasionally, but it was different. Now, Sarah would nitpick every little thing Jess would do or say, like when Sarah's dog would jump on Jess and she would ask Sarah to get her dog, or when Jess would accidentally leave things behind after staying over, and when Jess would ask us to make sure her phone is charging when she spent the night BC we were closer to the outlet. Sarah would get so fed up over these little things and wanted to do less and less with Jess. I, being so naive, didn't think that would affect my friendship with Jess, so I let Sarah bash her. September 19th, 2022. As Sarah and Dakota's relationship came to an end, Sarah went spiraling into a deep depression. She was harming herself. She had a history of self-harm, more than she was before. She had no idea how to cope with this, and I tried my best to be there for her. One night, I was doing my homework when she started FaceTiming me. She was crying, telling me she has a handful of pills and debating on swallowing them. I told her to think about this. You don't know what tomorrow will look like. After some more talking, she seemed to calm down a bit. I kept my phone propped up while I was doing my work, and in the corner of my eye, I saw her do it. I had no time to think. I threw on some shoes, took my keys, and sped over to her house. I go straight upstairs and she wasn't there. I looked for her mom. She was downstairs with Sarah. Her mom asked why I was crying. If you know me, you know I never cry in front of anyone. Before this day, neither Sarah or Jess had ever seen me cry. I take Sarah upstairs to talk. I tell her to go to the bathroom and make yourself throw up. She points a knife at me saying, I want this and you can't stop me. I break down in tears and said, I can't lose you. You're the only one who gets me. After more words were exchanged, she drops the knife and I helped her to the bathroom. I took her pills and her knife away and then went home. The next day, her mom texted me, Hey, just wanted to let you know what's going on. Sarah told the guidance counselor what she did last night. The counselor then contacted me, and legally I was bound to tail her to the ER. They have admitted her, and she will go to inpatient care. You are her best friend, and I thought you'd want to know. I didn't know it was your birthday. I am so sorry. I love you and hope you have the best 18th. I told Jess what was going on. She was speechless. We were trying to plan something for when she gets home. After she was released and things were somewhat back to normal, we were all hanging out again. We had ate lunch and were doing some shopping. Sarah was driving when all of a sudden, she gets very upset out of nowhere over past memories of Dakota. Jess and I didn't know what to do as we were watching the road during her blinding rage. I had a stress ball in my hand. The situation was so stress-inducing. The stress ball had popped all over my pants, which had lightened the mood at the expense of my wardrobe malfunction. March 18th, 2023, one night. We were all hanging out for Jess and Sarah's birthdays. They're 2 weeks apart. Sarah had a spur-of-the-moment plan to go to her FWB's house. Jess opted to stay home, and I was in favor of staying as well, but Sarah really didn't want to go alone, and it was her birthday. I drove her to the house, and she insisted I come in. I wasn't comfortable with the idea as I thought she was going to get her lay and go home. I went in anyway. I said hi to her friend, Brandon. We go to a room, and I met with Brandon's friend Jack. These weren't strangers to me. I went to school with them. We were all talking, drinking, and smoking until Sarah and Brandon step out of the room, leaving me with Jack. I wasn't too familiar with this person, and I have social anxiety, so I was crawling in my skin wanting to go home. We're sharing a blunt and doing small talk. What happened next, I didn't want to do, but was consensual, for I didn't know how to get out of the situation without causing a scene or being awkward. Sarah insisted we spend the night, so all four of us slept in the same bed. Jack kept twitching violently in his sleep and almost choked me out. The next morning, me and Sarah wake up to numerous missed calls from Jess. She was pissed. I felt guilty, but Sarah had not one bit of remorse for leaving our friend alone. I think the last straw for Jess was when Sarah, out of the blue, misses Jess and asks me if we should take her out to eat. I agree, and we call her. She agreed but wanted to drive herself. We tell her where we're going, corporate chain restaurant, and off we went. We texted Jess and told her we got our seats. She then says she can't find us. After a little bit of investigating, she went to the other restaurant in the opposite direction. She was enraged and yelled at me over the phone. Sarah heard her yelling and hung up on her. I didn't know what to do. Sarah said it's fine. We don't need her. Jess called back, crying and apologizing for yelling. I said it's all right. We can make plans another day. And that was the last conversation we had. May 19th, 2023, time passed. I got a boyfriend and spent less time with Sarah. Sarah had gotten a boyfriend as well, Mike. Though we hung out occasionally, it felt different. A few months later, October 12th, 2023, Jess texted the group chat, "Hey y'all. I know I haven't talked to you in a while, but I just wanted to say for sure, for my own peace of mind, that I no longer want to be friends with you." Me yelling at my name may have been harsh, which I have already apologized for and won't again, but that was not a small falling out that I can come back from. You guys have shown me time after time that you are inconsiderate people and don't seem to truly care about me, when I cared about you guys with my whole heart. You make immature decisions, and I wanted to say in finality that I don't regret our friendship, but our paths have severely diverged, and you are no longer people I can rely on or feel comfortable around. I will not be responding to any following messages and will not respond to either of you if you do ever reach out to me. Part of me knew this was coming. I had a strong wave of emotion hit me. When I received that message, I instantly knew what Sarah was going to say about it. I tried my best to avoid her that day, but she called, asking to come over. Though I was dreading it, I agreed. When she arrived, she bursted in manic laughter and found the whole situation funny. I blatantly disagreed with the behavior she was putting off. Jess was a good friend of mine for years, and I feel as though it was flushed down the toilet and part of the blame was on Sarah. As time went by, I took a few steps back and realized Jess was my person, not Sarah. I realized I was being used for Sarah's emotional gain, and she really didn't care for me. Everything we've done together was always in her favor. She was the one who made the plans, and I was always burdened with going over to her bedbug-ridden house because she never wanted to make the effort to come to mine. She's cheated on Mike on 2 separate occasions, once with Brandon and once with Dakota. She made me promise not to tell Mike. I do not condone cheating, and she knows that. What she didn't know is that me promising not to tell Mike meant I will not be friends with her again. I feel like I was forced into choosing her, and now I regret every second of it. She destroyed what I had, and now I can't get Jess back. Jess was my person, not Sarah. Now I have no way of getting Jess back. I've tried contacting her, but ended up with no answer. Not a single day goes by where I don't think about her. I cry every day to the fact she's not with me anymore. I know this was lengthy, but that's the whole story. I heavily regret all the decisions I've made that came down to this. I'm always thinking of things I could have done differently, but I can't change the past. She meant so much to me, and I need some advice to either get past this or get her back.